players just like sort of randomly on ranks.
Hmm.
Um, and I've been kind of shitting on them, which has been kind of nice.
Nice.
Because I think just like a few things kind of help me, and I think it's sort of interesting. I think I've sort of realized like how to be aggressive with Marth. Like I think it's just like at least in my experience, I feel like you got to just make them you swing at them a lot, and then they start like running away, and then you just bait them into coming in. That's like a lot
Mm.
of what happens. And it's just that back and forth
Yeah.
of if you think so that seems to work pretty well. And then yeah, I think we have a local YouTube player in our scene.
Oh yeah.
I think that's an interesting character because like YouTube basically like cannot approach, or at least
Hmm.
I feel like he can't.
Not really against Marth. Yeah, it's kind of hard.
So I played like yeah, I played against him round one. I've never lost to him, but we've gone game five a few times because
Okay.
his favorite well a bit of backstory his favorite Smash game is Brawl. He actually got third at Gobble. No, he got second at Gobble for Brawl.
Damn.
So
What's
he's
this?
pretty
What's
good.
their
He's
tag?
pretty good at Brawl. Angelo,
Okay, I've never heard of them. Hmm.
pretty good. Yeah, really, really good Brawl player. I think like top 50 in Brawl, but there's not really like an official.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, he plays Mewtwo because he just likes playing Mewtwo.
Hmm.
Yeah, so game one I kind of lost, but then after that I sort of realized like I feel like it kind of clicked in terms of like what walling actually means, and then I kind of shadowed him, so that was pretty
Yeah.
good.
Okay, nice.
Um, but yeah, and then yeah, I guess I went on kind of a good run at strikeouts. So I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah,
But
how'd you do? I didn't hear.
yeah, I was 15th seed and I got two upsets and I came ninth. Pretty
Okay,
happy about
nice.
that.
No, that's awesome.
I
Good
lost.
job.
Yeah, the bracket got kind of fucked. So I was sort of rewarded for losing early, which is kind of bad.
Hmm.
Um, but whatever. So I lost to actually lost four times, which is surprising because it's just how the bracket worked out. So I lost to MG in winners round three, which is I don't think that's a bad loss at where I'm at right now. Let's
Yeah,
just say.
no, that's fair.
Um, yeah, he's a nice guy though.
Yeah.
Then I lost to a friend of mine who I have not lost to, so that was a bit rough, but it happens.
Mm.
Then I lost to Blow, the Falcon. You know him.
Falcon. I don't think so, but
Yeah, they run Blow House. You know that tournament?
uh, yeah. Is that like a Bill Bone
Yeah.
tournament? Am I not mistaken? Or
No, no, it's not Bilbo. It's like run by Blow. Like
okay, okay.
yeah, it's not a Bilbo tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I
Okay,
lost to Bojack as well.
gotcha. Okay, okay.
But yeah, so pretty good overall. I beat like a decent Sheik, so I was happy about that because we were like talking about
Mm,
that. But yeah,
nice.
overall, I was doing pretty decently happy with some melee stuff. But yeah, just got some VODs I kind of want to look over. I have a few like notes on
Sure.
these.
Okay.
But I was thinking we could just sort of go in blind. I don't want to like maybe like give you any sort of or like, at least for the first one,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'll just
sure.
we can just go in blind, and then maybe for the second one I can try like telling you what I thought about it before, and we can see like better.
Okay, sure. So is it
Um,
two VODs total? I just want to get an idea of like how deep you want to jump into these.
so I have three ready,
Okay.
but I don't. I think I actually don't want to go over one of the ones that we have because I know why I lost that one. It was just like it just did not like I just dropped a lot of stuff. I think like it's a guy that I would normally beat.
Okay. No, that's
So I think
fair.
I kind of want to go over one Falco VOD just because I beat him for the first time yesterday, but he wasn't playing that well.
Hmm.
And he just kind of has a good read on like how to punish me really well.
Okay.
And then we never really talked about the Marth Ditto, and I lost kind of a tragic game five to Kubi's Marth last night, so maybe watch that VOD too.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was tragic or not, but it was unfortunate because I almost reversed feeling. But yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah, here I so yeah, here's the post.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I could give you. It's up to you, really, but like, I could give you some insight as to like, uh, some stuff I've been working on, in these matchups that I think are like really
Mhm.
strong. Um, but like, let's just watch them because if it's like really bad, habits or anything, like
Yeah.
we'll kind of know. But I'll just say what I've been working on, and maybe we can talk about that a
Mhm.
little bit too. So I guess
Yeah.
Falco, like for me, for the longest time, I've treated Falco like Fox-ish. Like he's just Fox
Mhm.
Junior with like an annoying gun, and he
Mhm.
still is. But I
Yeah.
think how I played, I money matched. So just for some context, I money matched this Falco named Lewis, who's like actually a pretty good player, but he just miserably laser camped the shit out of me, and I could not get a grab for the life of me. And I think it actually, for what it's worth, like generally speaking, I think it's pretty hard to get a grab against Falco than it is like Fox, right? I'm just
Yeah.
talking about like dash chance grabbing. And the biggest like thought that I had like after playing, because we money matched and I was like I was like GG's okay, stepped away and I was like, why did I lose that? Like that guy just spammed laser. Why was I not able to grab him? This is so annoying. And I actually just like thought about it for like 10 minutes and I was like, okay, but if he does this, like this happens. And then I just kind of realized like the big problem is like I am just trying to whiff punish lasers way too much. Like
Hmm.
I'm like playing this back in my head after I lost and I'm like, this sucked. Why am I like trying to guess here every time? And when it's not in my favor to do so, when I can like reposition. So now if you watched me play Prince last week at the local, like I would
Hmm.
like get hit by a laser and I would just dash back the other way and like bait out a down air. Or like if I would get close and it looks like I'm gonna go in, but then I actually do go in just by like dashing through him and like now his down air in place is like too slow to hit me and then I get behind him and then I can hit him. You know? Little things like
Hmm.
that I think matter a lot. So that's probably what I'm gonna be looking for the most. Just because it's like a newer concept to me. It's
Hmm.
less so. I the other thing I've been trying to focus on in melee lately, and I think has been helping me like reframe how I'm looking at it. So I'm think it's going to be helpful for you. Is uh, and sorry, I'll share my screen here. I haven't been sharing. I haven't watched anything yet, but the other thing I've been
Nice.
focusing on in melee, Mango at Tipped Off actually inspired me quite a bit to think about like when I think melee nowadays is a lot more defensive than it used to be, and I don't think that's like a bad thing. I think defensive tech like is just as cool as like aggressive tech a lot of the time. Like I get very impressed by like a really hard like smash the eye into like a grab reversal, right? Like I think that's cooler than like someone who's just like mashing shine on my face over and over, you know? Um,
Hmm.
because it's like it's a hard timing technique. But anyways, I think when you think of like a defensive players who like exemplify like peak defensive play, like I would personally list like Kadoran, um, Aklo, Zane kind of, but like old Zane for sure. Like these guys are playing around their opponent's mistakes as much as possible, right? Um,
Hmm.
Mango had tipped off this weekend actually really inspired me a lot against Cody because he's playing like the exact opposite of that. And it's not, I'm not saying he's playing around like if we're looking at Marth and Falco on the screen right now, if we're like taking the perspective of the Marth player here, Kadoran and Aklo and sometimes Zane, they're gonna be dash dancing this way, right? And they're gonna like if they think the Falco's gonna go in, they're gonna dash dance him and hit him, right?
Hmm.
Um, and they're gonna like whiff. They're basically like just masters of like whiffing or like making something happen from what the Falco is doing. Mango, on the other hand, I think if he was the Marth in this situation, he's gonna get to this same spot exactly, and then without time for the Falco to think, he's gonna know what it is they're gonna do, and he's gonna interrupt them doing it. And obviously, I'm just describing aggressive play, but I think the main idea I'm trying to point out is that Mango is really good at making you like Mango is really good at putting on pressure from your habits, less so than punishing you for your habits from away, you know? Like he won't call out
Hmm.
your habits from you and let you play. He calls out your habits and doesn't let you play, you know? And I think that is something a lot of Marts are going wrong with Falco for the most part, and that's probably what I'm going to be looking at right now is like everyone's trying to play Falco like Mango is playing uh like how Mango is playing against Cody's Fox. But I think in reality, maybe they do need a little bit more of that defensive style against him, and they get locked in sometimes. And finding a good mix of the two play styles is probably where you go right. Um,
That's interesting because against this Falco specifically,
mhm.
he's sort of known as like the really patient Falco in our region.
Well, that should be
Like he
okay.
will, yeah. So I don't know. So I guess him, I've like, yeah, I guess I have, because I was talking to Rom a lot because I met him recently.
Hmm.
And he's a really aggressive player, I find. Um, so I've just been like saying stuff like that. But yeah, I think. Well, I didn't want to talk about what I thought.
Um, yeah, like my perspective on it is like it shouldn't matter really if the Falco is like super aggressive or super defensive. I think if you're a really good player, you kind of have a mix of both, and I think that's why I said sometimes Zane, because I think Zane does have a good mix of the two,
Mhm.
uh, which makes it feel like getting a hit on him is like so impossible for a lot of players. But like, yeah, in terms of like, have we talked about Marth Falco before? I feel like we have, right?
No, we haven't talked about spaces at all.
Okay, so like when I talk about like we talked about like Luigi, I know for sure like the objective
Mhm.
truths of characters and things like that. I
Yeah.
think Falco is a little bit harder because kind of like Fox, he's like a lot more versatile in like how you play him. But I think there are like certain aspects you can like focus on against Falco that are like really strong. So like I recently watched a video that's breaking down like the four fundamentals of melee, which is like neutral, punish, edge guard, and defense.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Um and I think with Falco, like a lot of players will tell you, like it doesn't matter how many times you get hit, as long as you get the one grab on Falco, you can just kill him. I think that's true, but looking at neutral against him, I think is probably where you get the most answers for like how to beat a Falco better, because you already know how to punish Falco stronger, right? Hit harder,
Mhm.
kill earlier, whatever. But it's like getting that hit. I think against like the super laser campy Falcos can be really tough, and I think kind of touching upon what I was saying before about like the aggressive versus defensive style, you can do both because they both work, but you just need to like you need to know how to do either, right? And
Mhm.
I think by like moving around Falco in certain spots without even like poking at him like you would with like down tilt in other matchups, because lasers just kind of is like too strong against something like down tilt, you still
Mhm.
get that information, you know? So like if you already know that this guy is like super jumpy, like that's why an F smash like this works, because you just know he's gonna
Yeah.
laser in these spots all the time, right? That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like this is an example of like that mango style where it's like, okay, I'm not necessarily whiff punishing you or like holding a spot here. I just know your habits of like who you are as a player, and I'm punishing you for it, you know? And it's much more difficult to do that, I think, with like Marth than it would be with like a character that's a lot faster, like a Spacey or something. But yeah, that's the idea. Um yeah, so anyway, um my personal take on Falco, and I'll show you here my notes that I have. Um my personal take on Falco is that it really just comes down to being good against laser, I think.
Mhm.
Because I do have these like weaknesses and pros things that we talked about before, like edge guards are how you kill Falco. Obviously, like you just want to grab as much as possible where you can get like a chain grab or a tech chase. But the idea is like once you force Falco to stop lasering, he becomes a lot easier to play against, and that's where you really get to play. I think this is like an easier version of neutral. Nowadays, I don't even think this is really that true anymore. I think you can like play against Laser Falco, but you are still trying to just stop laser. He might just not laser this one interaction. Does that make sense? So I don't
Mhm.
like this part of the
Yeah.
sentence, but I do like this part still. Um, but yeah, so like staying grounded as much as possible, I think is good. Um, Stop him from lasering the corner to actually get him to do something, I think is important, and like that's kind of what we talked about, like the Mango versus like Kadoran style. Um,
Yeah.
Both options give you the ability to intercept. If he either plays without the laser or moves to another spot, you can catch both. Um, in neutral, you have access to all your anti-laser strategies, which are like just power shielding, dash back and forward, which is like this one that I need to do a lot more, and
Yeah. I would try to
naring.
do that more.
Yeah, did you do this one? The nair, like take laser fair is what people call it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so naring at them is pretty good to just kind of like auto set up take laser fair. Um,
Yeah. I think I do it less, or I think versus this Falco specifically, like I have to, or I think just in general it's good, but like I think he's really good at like run up crouch right under the nair and then getting a shine.
mhm.
I think I just need to fade the back a bit more, if that's happening.
So you say you run up crouches under the
He
nair.
like run up crouches to like right next to me, so I like the nair doesn't hit. He's sort of like right underneath
Mm.
like the angle, and then he'll like wait for the nair to finish, and then he'll get like a shine or like a turnaround up tilt or something.
Okay.
Maybe not that too, but
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in this set.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd have to see an example of that because that sounds like it shouldn't be possible if you like are drifting. Or
Yeah, I
like
think I was just like drifting too hard in.
yeah, that
Like
sounds
I think I
that
was
sounds like
just
it's right. Yeah.
yeah. I think maybe it wasn't happening because me and Zoyce play a lot,
Hmm.
so I think I've stopped doing it.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because it's like that sounds like it's just more of like a you issue than like a
Yeah.
something he does, right?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah.
I yeah. I just haven't
Um,
played against Falcos that would punish it.
no, I mean it's totally fair. Yeah. Well now you know. But yeah, so in the neutral, you access all your anti-laser strategies, which we kind of just talked about a little, or at least I showed it off, not really talked about it, but um, yeah. And then same thing with Falco is like laser controls the stage, blah blah blah. But I'm starting to think lately these strengths for the characters aren't even really as important as much as like these are to win. But these are
Yeah.
good for like for how to not lose. I think really like you don't want to be stuck in shield obviously because Falco's really good at it. Blah blah blah. You can screenshot this if you want. You can ask me questions about it. I feel like it's probably more helpful than anything at this
Well,
point.
you're recording it, so I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just get it back.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the three laser strategies, I think are like the big one. And this is what
Mhm.
I personally am not focusing enough on this one, but I'm like going back. I do this a lot and I do this a lot. This one I think is might be the most important one in all honesty. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's for like the first thing I learned how to do when I started playing Marth was like takes the user dash back and can beat a lot of Falcos. It's just that.
yeah. Well, even just like taking the laser and like running through them is like really really good.
Yeah, no, I need to do more of that because or else you just give up too much space. I think a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, you do, and it's like you also I think it's just too much if you aren't doing it. It's too much like to put that distance between the two of you or like force some distance. It's too much execution for you to hit on your hand without all that than it is for him to just press B and press the right button after, you know. It's
Yeah.
just too much to deal with. But yeah, I mean so far just watching this like without getting like super super in depth of it, think you're just kind of like dashing a little bit too much in his face and not threatening like a wall. Like ideally, like I have here, I think in the screenshot, like you kind of want a distance like here between the two of you to play neutral in. This is where I would dash dance, I would jump or whatever. Cause this if I do a nair at them here and they laser, I can do take laser fair, right? From a distance like
Mhm.
this. Um but if I think they're gonna come at me, like well this is also a good distance to do like a fair in place, you know? Um stuff like that I think is good against Falco because like here you almost get it like exactly right there. Obviously, it's between stocks, but like distances like this I think are good against Falco because if he stays like if you have him, it's hard to explain it just with like one state. I think if I had like Uncle Punch like a save state ready where it's just like all these different slots, it would make more sense. But like if I think Falco's gonna laser here, like I can do the nair at him, take fair or take laser fair, right? And it kind of just like works. If I don't think he's gonna laser, um, if I don't think he's gonna laser, I can like do a fair in place, or I can just dash dance. If I think he's gonna shield, like this is like a pretty unreactable like run up grab, right? I think the main concept behind this all is like it's kind of unreactable. Um,
Mhm.
it's like somewhat reactable for like some inputs, like, but like you can't really react to like, am I gonna jump at you or am I gonna wave dash at you? You know, because they both have the same jump squad, and by the time you truly react, I'll probably be in your face hitting you anyway. Um, and same goes for Falco, but I think this is like the neutral distance. You can play neutral from anywhere else on the stage, but this is really the distance I would say you want to pay attention to the most to like get info out of them, you know? So if like you mentioned early on, like they have a laser habit. Shocker, they're doing laser and then something, right? So you could have like gone at them a little bit more. Things like that, I think are important, you know. So like right now, he's just doing laser into downer, like anytime you're close. So I would catch on to that and be like, okay, dash dance shield or like take laser dash back or something like that, you know. But like laser, oh, you poke him with down tilt, so he caught his landing, and now he's dead. Nice.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue versus Falco, and I think we'll probably see it more game two. Is I think he's like I think we talked about the corner before, and I just think that like Falco specifically is like really difficult to get out of the corner versus just because of
Yeah,
like
he is.
the laser and stuff. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like that's where Zoysia gets me a lot. It's just
Um,
like you can kind of just sit and wait. But
okay, yeah, we'll call it to it as it comes up. But I just wanted to point out here, like that same doing a bunch of lasers into down air, almost the exact same distance between the two of you, except he's coming off the platform, but like
mhm.
still laser down air, right? So you can be ready for it, I think, a little more. Here's getting off the platform. Let's see, or the ledge. Let's see what you do. Okay, so he catches you dashing in.
I
Okay,
think
there he messed
I
up.
tend to like overcommit a bit, but
I mean, the thing with Falco is everything's contextual, right?
yeah,
So it's like how you deal with certain things, especially with laser, is like on its own gonna look like not that good or really good, and then with context, it might be terrible or amazing, you know. Um, so I think that's just important. But it's like, okay, we've established early on he's doing laser down air bunch, so that's what I'd be looking to punish them most, right? And kind of responding to that accordingly. Um, so it's like, okay, here's the same distance. He's just kind of down airing in place. So like, I think knowing what people are doing in certain spots and kind of like having answers for that is important, right? So like, here you have a couple of things you can do if you think he's just gonna do like a down air. Like he's not doing down airs fully at you, right? He's kind of just doing laser, laser, and he's doing a down air every time. But it's like not until you like get up in his face, you know. So like laser, you're up in his face, and then he down airs, right? So you can do stuff like take the laser and then just kind of like weave in between. Like, am I gonna go in? No. Am I gonna go out? You don't really know. He throws out the down air, and then you like hit him for it. You know, stuff like that's good. Um,
yeah,
you could also just like YOLO dash attack. You could F smash is like more harder reads. You could power shield the laser back at him. But yeah, here out of the corner, just kind of naring at him.
yeah. No, I think something that I think at least like maybe versus Falco more, but I find that like I don't really do a good job of like mixing up like where I attack or like even like baiting my opponent at all. It's kind of just like I'll wait for a bit and then I'll be like, okay, I can attack you now, and I'll do like one of like two things. And like I've been trying to work on that a bit, but it's
Mm-hmm. Back here, nice. Um, Yeah, I mean, I would say the big issue right now is you haven't really caught on to like his laser habits in game. Like it seems like you're pretty aware of it after watching, but in game you're kind of just like always trying to force an approach on him. There you do pretty good actually. Here's is actually whether it's intentional or not, if it's like flub, take laser and you dash back and then you're kind of like moving around him, and then you go back to center instead of like forcing a scrap. I thought that was actually pretty well,
okay.
but what comes right after it, right? Same exact spacing, right? We talked about like for neutral, this is where you get all your info. And now he's kind of YOLO going in with down air, right? So I would honestly in that spot, like I would just kind of like wait an extra second because he has a habit of just doing the same thing over and over, and try and punish him for it a little harder. Obviously, easier said than done, but I think it's like
Yeah.
manageable when you have distance like that, you know, that the neutral distance of like, am I gonna go in or am I not, right? Um,
Yeah. I also find that like when I'm behind, I tend to try to like force interaction a lot more.
Yeah, no, you
Um,
definitely are. Yeah,
yeah, I
here
kind
you're
of talked
not too
about it.
much, but I think
Yeah, I think this set I was just trying to like not just get ID to kill this peach syndrome.
I think what the difference is here is like you're down and like you obviously don't want to lose. You're trying to take your time, right? And like here you are taking your time, but once you start going in or you get hit even, now you're only going in, right?
Okay.
Like you do get the YOLO F smash, but I think I think you are actually playing pretty patient otherwise. It's just once you get your opening, you're not it doesn't seem like you're willing to give it up when you're down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I think that definitely makes sense. I think it's just like as well, um, it's just like I think one of the fundamental truths of playing this game is like no matter how good you are, you're gonna drop things. And I think I just need
Yeah.
to accept that that's gonna happen sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's true. Okay, good chain grabs.
I have a hard time, I don't know, in being these stocks sometimes.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is you're doing only tipper up airs, but like at a higher percent like this, it's
Yeah,
actually better to do like a weak up air, and that's just like
yeah,
the simple answer. So it's like you just
yeah.
messed up. That's all. But like, see how immediately you're going back in to like get a grab here.
Mhm.
Combo's done. You grabbed. Okay, let me go back in for another grab. Oh, he jumped. Now I'm getting hit. Oh shit. Now I'm dead. Right? Or should be, but yeah.
Was
Um.
it? Did he have you dead like guaranteed there?
Well, like he could, right? Like this is an edge guard. Like he has every possible way. Like he could just like back ear you here, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, if he wanted to. But yeah.
Not a great double jump.
Well, it's like the idea is like if he grabs the ledge here, he has every way to kill you if he wanted to. It's just a matter of if he hits it, you know.
Hmm.
But you get another chance. That's probably it though. Oh, never mind. He's the worst.
He
um,
loves. Yeah.
that's funny.
No, I remember.
Okay, but yeah, this is a great take laser fair. Right, keep that distance between the two of you. Good answer also to laser F tilt too, in my opinion, just because of this far distance by the time he actually does it. So yeah, this is good. Unfortunately, it's just not enough percent, and yeah. Laser F tilt, oh my god, you're still alive. That's insane. I was gonna say laser F tilt I think is like particularly tough to deal with off the ledge like this.
Yeah, then I just go right in for no reason. But
Well, yeah, I mean the counter honestly like worked out, but yeah, you just similar story, right? Like once it ends, you're not willing to give it up. You kind of just forcing
yeah,
a kill there.
it's just because like I'm like uncomfortable, so it's like I want to end the game one way or the other, just because like I'd rather like there's like I feel like sometimes I'd rather lose than like as bad as it sounds, like I'd rather lose than like continue playing in this uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. You're down. It's scary, which like I totally get, but yeah, it's just like a discipline kind of thing.
Yeah. Bojack told me to just pretend I'm always up.
It's funny. Yeah, I try and look at it on percents, so more so than stocks lately. And I think that
Yeah,
helps because it keeps me grounded as to like what I'm doing based on like what's happening in front of me. You know.
yeah, I've been trying to do that as well, but it's hard in tournaments.
No,
At
yeah,
least for me.
obviously, it's never easy. Um. Okay. So yeah, same thing, right? You're kind of just like forcing a lot happening right now. I think that's really the problem here. It's usually the story against Falco is like difficult execution, simple solution. You know. So it's like you're forcing a lot right now, and like you could hit everything that you're hitting. It's technically possible, but it's just really hard to do. But there probably is a simpler answer, which is like holding center, not like taking the laser and mixing in when you go in, when you don't, right? Because you do have an idea of like how he's gonna play, right? And it's even showing in like when you're making your openings happening, like when you are making your openings, you're still winning the mix-ups a lot, right? So it's just a matter of like actually putting it all together, I think. But
Yeah, I think it's just because like I saw like I just like I try to like I'm like okay, well I'm just gonna worry about like hitting really hard because that's like I feel like the most important thing at the skill level that I'm at right now. But I think just sort of accepting that like playing a little bit of neutral is probably gonna go a long way.
yeah, I mean my take on it is like what I was telling you about that CLG video, the four pillars of melee, like uh, neutral, punish, edge guard, and defense.
Mhm.
Um, I think punish probably carries you the hardest at low level because you can just like straight up just gap people in terms of like you have to hit me 4 times for every 1 time I hit you, but yeah, eventually you're gonna feel like you hit a plateau until you learn the other stuff, right? So
Yeah, I just don't like I'm not sure if I'm at because it's just like I feel like I could just hit harder, but at a certain point it's like I could just add a few simple things and I feel like the ROI and like the work to
yeah,
just have
no,
slightly better neutral would be more
it
than
is.
like
Yeah,
specific situation.
no, it definitely is. Um, because yeah, I think the problem is the timing of when you're going in, right? Like it's not necessarily like jump a little slower, jump. It's like you're not mixing up what you're doing really, like when
Yeah.
with context of like what's happening. So like when you're down and you drop a combo, you're going in every time, and it's like he doesn't even really have to like think about like, oh, what move is Marth gonna throw out right now? Doesn't matter. I'll shield and like play off that. Stuff like that. I think is important. Because like
Yeah.
otherwise you're killing him every time you get like a big launcher off a hit. Like some of your combos and edge guards have been really nasty, but it's just a matter of like how do you get that grab, right? Because like I'm seeing you
That's
like you're back on stage now, and like it just feels like you're like it's almost like he has a magnet and he's just pulling you in more and more and more. The more you
yeah.
get an
No, that,
opening,
that makes sense.
and
Oh,
it's
by the
like,
way,
oh sorry, go
sorry,
ahead. No, you're good.
I was gonna say is unrelated, but the guy I'm playing against is the guy who I was telling you who's starting like an org that like
Oh,
special.
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways,
Um,
what were you gonna say?
yeah. Well, I was just saying like I think watching that back, it's really easy to tell. So I'm trying to give you like more tips or like how to ground yourself while you're playing.
Mhm.
Because like it's hard to tell when you're playing. I think who's got the momentum like that. But I think feeling clueless against Falco, it's really easy just to remind yourself of like anti-laser strategies because that's what it's always going to feel like when you're playing against a good Falco. Is like he is just laser camping the shit out of me and I can't do anything about it. Um, and so trying those three out and like seeing how he responds to all three is gonna be the way I think you like figure out how to go back and play. Like, okay, he really is just doing this one thing every time. How do I do something about it, right? And then in terms of like how you do something about it, that's kind of where that like Mango versus Kadoran style thing I was telling you about is. It's like, do I have to punish him offensively here? Do I have to punish him defensively? Do I have the space to do that? What's gonna happen? Which is hard while you're playing, but that's really just what it comes down to, I think, against Falco, because it's like his neutral, or sorry, his punish and edgeguard, like it's like basically the same as Fox, right? So those two sides of the game you're like almost skipping. You only really need like Falco exclusive defense and neutral to get better at the Falco matchup, I feel.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, like punish on him. Yes. Okay, sorry. I thought you
Yeah.
meant like his punish on you. It's the
No,
same.
no. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no. His punish on you, I would call that your defense.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
So it's like you need like Falco specific defense and you need Falco specific neutral, but like how you punish and edgeguard him, it's like Fox Jr. really. Like you don't really need you already know what to do in there. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah. I mean, there's
Um
a few small differences, of course, but for the most part, yeah.
yeah, no, it's like couple of percents difference, like oh, like he can't be regrabbed on at this percent with this DI, like those small things, but like there's nothing any like big like
Yeah.
overarching hitbox that he can like land with or something the Fox doesn't
Oh yeah,
have. Like it's mostly the same.
for sure. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I mean, focusing on your neutral right now, it's like I think we've pretty clearly identified the issue, right? Or like a couple variations of it. Of like at this distance,
Mhm.
you seem to keep going in. When you're down, you're forcing it a lot, and even when there's long pauses in neutral, I think the big one is like you are when there is big pauses in neutral, it feels like he has a magnet and you're just chasing him over and over, which like compounds extra on the shit that we've been talking about already. So I think for that VOD, like it's pretty cut and dry. Like if
Okay.
you just like calm yourself down a bit and like I would say ground yourself with like your anti-laser strategies, and like I'll scroll through these notes slowly just so the VOD picks them up. You can read them and you can ask me questions about what you think about them, but like really, I mean, this is really all you need to know, I'd say. Yeah, and like I'm sure you can figure out what everything means just by the pictures. Like obviously these are the power shield bubbles, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's like that. Like Falco's pretty basic, honestly. Like he requires a lot of execution and I would say discipline to like not just like YOLO in and try and kill him, but in terms of like uh adjustments you need to make against the character, like there's not like some over encompassing game plan thing that's coming with Falco that you wouldn't have like with Fox already. So yeah, that's kind of my takeaway on that. Honestly, I feel like it was pretty cut and dry.
Cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense. All right. So I'm realizing I accidentally recorded like the wrong window when I recorded my set versus Kobe's Marth. So is it cool if I just send you like the Twitch and like the time
Yeah, yeah,
instead of
that's
the YouTube
that's
video?
okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just
I
because
know
we're
Twitch
looking
isn't
at.
as good.
No, it's okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'll say just because we're looking at two VODs right now, like it's probably for the better anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess for this set, so I just played it. I had played against Rom just before. Um, kind of got destroyed. Cannot lie. Um, but yeah, I think overall I felt pretty. I was pretty happy with how I was playing the corner in this set. Like I think I was like ledge dashing really well. Like I was using like I had like he was like making him respect me a lot. I think at least from my perspective, the biggest issue in this was sort of similar, where it was just like I felt like I wasn't necessarily confident enough in like my ability to play neutral, so I just decided to kind of just run in or just like overextend with like a dash attack or something, and then like it worked out some of the time, but like other times he could just like sort of wait. Whereas like instead, I think it would be better to maybe just like go for lower commitment options as opposed to just like going for my like high risk, high reward thing to just like either way, I'm gonna like not be playing neutral anymore after this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's at a 202.50.
202.50. Okay, cool.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, 15. Sorry, 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say, damn, 5 seconds. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um.
You can see F1 comes. Yeah.
Okay, and you're blue, Marth.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
blue and we were both playing red, so
Yeah.
we agreed to.
Um. So I think the biggest thing I'm gonna be looking for. Okay, Beast, you did it. Um. Is how are you using crouch cancel percents?
Mhm.
Um. This matchup. This matchup is dictated by grabs, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
Marth struggles to approach Marth awkwardly enough. And so having position on the other Marth is like on Marth 2. I'm just going to say Marth 1, Marth 2, and assuming there were Marth 1. Okay. Um, having position on Marth 2 is just everything that you've ever wanted. Because it's kind of weirdly hard. I mean, you might know what I mean already, but like, it's kind of weirdly hard to approach Marth and like run at him and hit him. Because his dashback is so good and like his forward facing moves are like only better if he's retreating. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
disjoint is so much better if you're retreating or in place. So like moving forward with that is kind of awkward, especially against like a good dashback and where he's able to retreat. And you know what I mean? So position is the name of the game. And I would say there's also two other aspects that come with this matchup. It's one that it's hard to hit a tipper, and kind of like how I was talking about, like it's hard to like position properly because Lamarth is dash backing and like you're approaching with your hitboxes forward, but like it's just kind of hard to hit a tipper. Um, so it means like crouch cancel is really really strong, and if you get a crouch cancel, it means you can probably get a grab, which means you can throw them any direction you want, which means they're in the corner. And that means you get to be the dashback Marth now, and stop him from coming in and jumping, right? So, again, same idea. Once you have the position, you can either play the Mango style, which is like punish their movement out of defensive spots, like the corner, which is like F smash and nair or fair, or you can play like the Kadoran style a little bit, and you can dash back and pivot grab or whatever, right? Dash dance. So I think like that's the name of the game, really, and I'm just glad to see that you CC grab this nair because that's really really strong.
Yeah.
The up throw at the percent you did it at, probably not what I would have gone for, but I get it still. You know, I like starting at literally 22 to get like up throw fair, but whatever, that works.
Yeah.
If
I
it's
definitely try
0,
to
I
like
like to like down throw or F throw. F throw is pretty good in this matchup.
yeah. No, I definitely think I don't know. I something I sort of think about this matchup is I try to up throw like early just to like sort of condition them to think to like DI in more just so I can get like some cheeky like F smashes off of it off like forward throw, but
I
I
think
don't know.
that makes sense. I just don't think that's really like how conditioning is gonna work unless you like hit them
Fair enough.
hard off of it. I think like that line of thinking is probably better for like a kill percent kind of thing. Like if I'm like
Yeah. Yeah.
if I could get like a down throw and like tipper them, like well, now they're conditioned to DI to live the down throw, you know? And it's like, yeah. So I think that's kind of like he messed up. Like, that's not going to happen as much. I'm just going to still DI for whatever he's... Because from your opponent's perspective, they're worried about not dying, you know? So that's kind of what you have to... That's how you condition them with. It's like condition them to get hit by something that they would die from otherwise.
It's good to know.
I would say big thing that's missing so far from watching you right now, though, is lack of tippers. A lot of weak hits, like especially where like he was kind of bullying you off the ledge here. Like here, that Nair is a great example. You can definitely get tipper fair on this. Right? Right here. Oh, sorry. Right here. Here you can easily tipper fair him, invincibly too, right? But instead you kind of get like a weak Nair and whatever. But it's like just as much from him. Like he's hitting you with like obviously like 120, so it matters a little less. But like he's hitting you also with a lot of weak aerials, so you just got to be ready to like punish those, right? Like that weak up air. Like if that was a strong up air, maybe it works after you die here. But because it's a weak one, like you kind of get nothing, and you got hit back in return for it, you know. So paying attention to tippers, I think, is really important in the Ditto. It kind of makes those like reversal falling fairs less common, or like you getting CC'd way less common. And I think
that's definitely this matchup is like reversal falling fair is like
like it sucks, and it's like you can play this entire matchup just by like hitting tippers or like weak hits at high percent, but like low percent you almost like never want a weak hit, to be honest with you, because the tippers are strong enough on their own at low percent where you can kind of like do something with them. But yeah, like I think how it feels right now is Kubi is just better at like putting pressure on in the corner, because your defensive game isn't really that strong. Like you're hitting hard.
Don't look at this part. Don't look at this part.
Well, you're doing great so far. You're hitting
3 mistakes in a row. He was dead twice. I just grabbed the edge.
Yeah, I mean he was dead, but it's like
I missed two pippers. Like, oh my god.
This is honestly fine though. Like this whole interaction, like you're actually doing like totally okay here. Like sure he's dead there, right? If you mess that up,
he's dead there too.
Yeah. Well, like here, he's dead here if you hit a tipper down tilt. So no tipper, okay, he gets another chance, right? Here he's dead because you go forward, hesitate, come back. So all you can get is another weak down tilt. Okay, same thing. But the problem here twice was that they were weak down tilts and not tipper, right? Because he's just be able to act sooner. But even still, like even though he gets back on ledge, like you're still keeping him in a bad spot and keeping him off stage, and he's got like 103 from just you holding the corner, right? And it's like a great like CC grab on the fair here because it's like a weak aerial and you're punishing it. Hold on. Like this is amazing. That was genuinely really good. But just like non-tipper F smash, right? Non-tipper down tilt. Now you're swinging like the same thing we talked about in the last set. You're down, yeah. But like there you mess up your execution, but like that's really the problem. And it's like again, Marth 1 struggles to approach Marth 2, right? So where you get the beneficial position of like keeping him in the corner, this is just as bad as you edge guarding him for a lot of different reasons, right? Obviously, it's not where you want to be. You want to keep him off stage the most, but it's like if being off stage in the Marth Ditto is a 10 out of 10 bad, being in the corner against the other Marth is like a 9 out of 10 bad, right? And you're keeping him here. I just don't think you're just not spacing, which is like the real problem. And that was like that was bullshit. That was a phantom tipper.
I got two. I think there's 2 phantoms this set.
Yeah. But like tipper up air, boom, and he's dead. You know.
Very surprisingly, after Kubi barely beat me, he went on to beat Bojack with more.
But like Kubi's just hitting more like tippers than you. Honestly, that's like been the only real difference in my opinion. Like just watching it real time, because you are gapping him otherwise in terms of defense, and I don't know about neutral necessarily, because he's keeping you in the corner for longer, but It's weird because like neutral, like tipper spacing is both punish and neutral because it's like your spacing
Yeah.
in your move choice, but that's the difference maker. If you are getting more tippers right now, you are beating Kubi, in my opinion. Okay, yeah, you just got
I'm curious to see if
bad
that's what
DI.
changed in games. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. You said this is a game 5 set?
Yeah, it was he won the first two, then I won the second two, and then he won game five.
Okay. I don't know why I've been watching such a small screen this entire time. Um, yeah, I mean, in terms of like better punishes here, like at 0, like the name of the game is grab at 0, right? Like that's your biggest hit you want, grab or a launcher, right? Well, I like the word launcher more than like knockdown because like Marth doesn't really care about hitting them to a tech chase all the time. If he can get like a big clean tipper up air, like he'll take that, you know. So launcher I think is a better word, but yeah, like here this run off the platform here, crouching. If you obviously you're too far, but like grab off that immediately and you're set, right? But here where you're getting like opportunity, and you up tilt right after. I think you could have double grabbed here, and I would have down throw it at 0 because he doesn't really like. You just get a tech chase off that, and then you can set up for keeping him in the corner.
Yeah, like what he did basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like because it's just like, just think about it, like how much it sucks like being in the corner against the other Marth and like you can't get past them, right? Like if
Yeah,
ones that are
I
worse
think
than
just
you
my
and you can
biggest
scrap.
fear.
Go ahead.
I think like the reason I don't do that all. Sorry. The reason I don't do that a lot of the time is just because I'm like so afraid of like them just holding down away, then they get ledge. But I guess like in the Ditto, it's like different from other matchups where them having the ledge is not as big of a deal as it is versus like a character with a really good ledge dash.
No, it's not. Yeah, I mean, look, watch this interaction right here. Watch how Kubi plays this. He's just baiting you, putting you in the corner, and then he's just like, corner hits you off stage, and he's just backing off every time. Yeah, get off stage, whatever. Hits you as soon as you're back on, right? And it's because like, why is this dash dance working so well? It's because like from right here, it's hard to hit Marth coming in, and it's hard to approach him, right? So he's just able to grab you and anticipate you coming in. And it's like it's broken. Like I think Marth in the corner is like really really bad.
Yeah. No, this matchup is 6-4.
I think you also are not edge guarding really like at all if you're not getting like a hit. Like here, right? You can back air him there. Or like a better way to look at it is like when you get the hit, which is right here, right? It's like what resources does he have right now? He has his double jump and his side B, or you can instant up B. Well, you know he's probably not going to instant up B because like you're invincible and you've access to the ledge. So now you have to guess a second ago after you grab the ledge. Now you have to guess what move it is he's going to use, which one of his 2 resources he has left, right? It's probably obviously going to be side B or double jump. But either way, he can't instant up B because you have fresh invincibility, right? That's why like refreshing at the right time is important. So either know he's going to use one of his 2 resources, which like a let go back air just kind of beats that, especially at a high percent like that, or he's going to go low. So you can either go hit him right now, or you can go low and cover the recovery. Instead, you hold the ledge, which is not, it just doesn't really do much from like what the context of like what he has, right? When we're talking about like eliminating resources. So same thing. Instant double jump there, you should just react, but then you cover it, boom. And he's dead, right? Okay, now let's watch how Kubi does it now. Grabs the ledge at the right time, so you either have to like use a resource and up B, but you have already, in this instance, when he gets back, you've already used your double jump here, or side B, double jump, right? So now it's easy to anticipate. He's going to either up B low or up B high, and he's able to just cover it a little easier. He's not doing it good because he's not a Marth player, but I think that's like a basic like melee fundamental, you know? It's just like eliminating resources. Like you can do it with like every character. How you do it looks a little different, but yeah. Okay. doesn't have enough time to grab the ledge, so he's just gonna edge chart you, flow chart you. What am I trying to say? Edge trap. God, that was so annoying. Here, this is like tricky. But if you have Galint here, this is like Galint is actually like a necessary tech in this game or in this matchup. If you can get one frame of Galint, this down tilt is like a non-issue. So I'd recommend him practicing it.
Yeah, I can do it. Just I've realized I can't like if I go into like training mode and like Uncle Punch, I can get like 2 to 3 frames consistently. But I realize like I don't actually go for Galint ledge dashes in games, so I've been like hard focusing on that.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's really, really important.
No, it's genuinely like an important factor in a Marth Ditto. Like actually. But yeah, especially at like a higher percent where like the fair isn't as strong because they can just dash back it. But yeah, same thing here. He's covering your resources when you're recovering. It's like right here. Nair. Okay, side B. Boom. What were you saying?
I was thinking, like when I was playing against Rom, like I noticed that he was really good about like he would hold on to like his double jump and his side beat like as late as possible and go like really low and like really make it like ambiguous when he was gonna use it and like hold on to the resources.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the idea behind it is like if you go super low, you don't know if I'm gonna instant up B, you don't know if I'm gonna side B and then up B, you don't know if I'm gonna like side B double jump up B, double jump side B up B, double jump up B, you know, like all those timings are a little different. So it's good to go low. The problem is if you aren't good at spacing your up B against the moves that you think the Marth is gonna do, you just die. So it's like it's not necessarily all or nothing because it's still good, but it's like it's tough. Like it's just really bad being off stage, you know. But yeah, okay. So let's see these tippers. Okay, no punish on the grabs here so far. Nothing there. Okay, tipper into just you get a tipper there, but you don't really do much with it.
Great. Yeah, I think I surprised myself with the tipper.
Yeah, because here you could have rising faired that, but whatever. Okay, weak down tilt, swinging. Yeah, like it seems like there's like a lack of confidence from for just like staying and hitting a good tipper on him, you know. Ooh, okay. Here I would Marth Killer this, but that it doesn't work. I thought it would have.
I hope it would too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Marth Killer is really strong if they don't have a double jump, which you got his double jump on the second fair here. Marth Killer is pretty good for that. Because you get his double jump right here. You can see the rings that showed up. It's like barely visible in the 240p Twitch pod, but it's there. But yeah, probably would have been a little better. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think so far for me it seems like at this point you're not really playing the percents as much anymore. It's more just like trying to swing on him coming in, like the right timing. I'm more interested to see like how you're gonna play it when you get back at low percent, right? Okay, grab. Because it feels like you're trying to play like a Fox Ditto or something right now, where you're just like trying to anticipate their approach. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Like when I'm watching you play right now, I don't feel like you're like looking to like hold the space or bait him to come in a little more. It looks like you're trying to like catch him coming in on you or like running away. Does that make sense? Like when you when you respawn right now, you're swinging instantly and you're swinging like a lot. Swing, swing, grab, attack, and this is obviously a combo, but like down tilt, dash back, fair. You're jumping at him, you're jabbing, you're grabbing, you're down tilting, you know. And it's working right now, but when it isn't working, I think it's working really, really bad for you. And
Yeah,
I think it's just because Kubi's like a worse Marth than you know?
yeah. I think I don't
Because,
know. I think it's just like because I guess it just feels good to see your character beat up the other character, so I just
yeah.
press a lot of buttons. But
Well, I think like,
uh,
I guess the point I'm trying to make is like when Kubi is slowing the game down, it's really like you're struggling a lot. But
yeah,
like here, where he's just kind of like pressing buttons back, you're doing better. Which is like the same problem you had against the Falco, right? He's like when you're losing, you're kind of going in a bunch, but when it does work out for you, it's working pretty good. Because I think your punish game is good. Like you're hitting hard, but
I guess I need to accept that I need to work on things that aren't just combos.
yeah.
That's okay though.
No, I mean
It's
that's just the game, you know.
yeah, it is.
Um,
I think that's one of the reasons I have such a hard time against floaties, but it's been getting a bit better just because I've sort of accepted more of what melee is. Because I
mhm.
think yeah, I definitely do treat it sometimes more too much like a one player game. Um, we'll get there.
It's like even like this Nair, for example. Like I hate that this isn't a YouTube player, but this Nair you do on a shield. I know like the S smash works here because he jumps, right? But you hesitate an extra second, and you're pulling back and doing it, and it's like it's still like I get why you're doing it, but it's like I think the problem is like you have no mix up right now in terms of timing. It's hit and then instant hit, right? And Kubi, the only reason he gets away with this is because he fucks up execution. Because he's still trying to hit you, so like I get it, but he fucks up here. You swing instantly and you get counter hit for it, right? Or
Mhm.
yeah, you get grabbed. But like instead in this exact same spot and still while being able to put on pressure, you're able to hit him here with this nair, and then you can like dash back, grab, and react to like him shield grabbing or jumping here, and then fair him or like F smash later or whatever. But you're just ripping it off the bat instantly, you know? Which is the same problem you have against the Falco, where it's like once you're in, you're refusing to let go, you know? It makes sense. You're in here, boom. But you hit his shield. You're not actually hitting him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay. Explains a lot of my losses, to be honest.
Um,
I think that's why I had such a hard time against. Oh, Sheikah's obviously just hard for Marth, I think, but I think Sheikah's just like the master of like you, or at least like the way I've been approaching the matchup lately is like I feel like you really need to bait Sheik just because she's so good at like when she's like standing still or just holding ground, she's really really strong. So you really just need to bait her to doing something. You can't just kind of run at Sheik because you're just gonna lose that fight.
yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's like you can lose that fight with like every character if they know how to slow the game down properly. And it's like right
Yeah,
now Kubi's up 2-0. He's just pressing buttons with you, and so like a comeback is like happening. But I'm always willing to bet like game 5 or game 4, whatever it is, like he's gonna slow it down a bit and try to win, quote unquote, and that's gonna be what it looks like. Because that's often what it is at like lower levels is people just slow it down because they know they can like win in a couple spots.
that definitely feels when I play Amp a lot of the time, like even just in friendlies, because he's I'll be up like 3 stocks and he'll like slow down the game and like actually try and like it's,
Yeah. Well, it's like everyone, all the PR players are saying that Amp is good at like looking at the screen, and like what we mean by that is like when Amp approaches you, I'm sure when he's autopiloting, he's like just down smashing or just grabbing, and like you catch on to it. But when he wants to win, when Amp wave dashes towards you, he's like using context of like what has happened before in the game to know what you're gonna do,
Mhm.
right? And he's putting pressure on you by like reacting, but it's not flowcharty. Like he's mixing it up as he's playing, and he's not mixing it up by picking different options. He's mixing it up by knowing what you're gonna do and then picking a different option. You know, and it's like different. It's different like how he's using that different option. Um,
Yeah.
so I think your problem right now is you have a timing issue where you're like forcing stuff to happen too much. You need to be more comfortable holding your own space and mixing up when you go in. Am I gonna like wait an extra half second? Am I not? And that can be tough if you don't know how to hold your own ground, and that might be an issue altogether. But It seems like when you're looking for it, you're pretty good at that already. Like you already know what to do when you're like want to counter hit your opponent, right? Because you have had some moments where you dash back or crouch cancel grab or whatever. You're just not mixing that up as like an approach option. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I think it's like almost like you can use it something you think of as a defensive option, like as an like aggressively or like as an approach.
Yeah. Well, it's like the same concept as like when people say like, oh, you're giving up too much space in the Ditto, right? Like in the Fox Ditto, like or like in Marth for a Marth player, it'd be like you're giving up too much space against Fox. You're letting him run away for free. It's like people tell me that because I don't like just stand there and down tilt. Now that I'm standing there and down tilting, I need to like mix up when am I gonna move and when am I not, right? Your problem is that you're like only going in and swinging, but you're not mixing up. Am I gonna dash back here? Am I gonna swing and then crouch? You know what I mean? Like you could do safe swing into crouch. You could do safe swing into another attack, which you're doing a lot. You could do safe swing into a down tilt. You could do safe swing into dash back. You have a lot of options, you know.
Yeah.
But you're just choosing the one. You're playing rock paper scissors and picking rock every time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, one of our like really old school players who comes out described me as a very stiff player because I kind of just refuse to change what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Um, but like you're hitting hard, and I think that's what's like frustrating about this is like it's just one thing, you know. But that's good. Like if that means if you can get better at that, like chances are you'll start punching up a little higher. That means you're close, you know.
Hopefully. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
if you can act on it properly, you're close. But because otherwise, I think your punishes have been pretty good. It's just the neutral, like when you're going in, when you're not.
Yeah, I mean that also just makes sense because like I guess it's good. I guess it's good to hear the confirmation that like okay, I'm at the point where I need to start playing it. Just because like I very much like when I started playing, I saw like because like Cody's video on like how to learn melee or whatever. It's like learn punish game. Do not care about your neutral. Learn punish game. But I guess I've done that to an extent, or like enough that, like I said before, like learning a bit of neutral will have a better return.
Yeah, I mean Cody also like that's easy for Cody to say because he like half skips the game of neutral with Z jump right now. You know, like
Well, this was before. This was before
no,
that, but
I
still.
know. My I guess my point I'm trying to make is like a lot of top players they really preach just practice punish over and over, but it's because neutral comes like naturally to them, like they kind of just get it. Um, but there's a lot of top players who don't have really like great punish, like Kadoran, but he'll just hit you in neutral over and over and over. Um, and I think with Marth, you have to be good at all four, and there is no like punish bot Marth, right? Like that Mewtwo King was used to be that as like a the robot meme, but Mewtwo King was also just like nasty at neutral, right? He was like
Yeah, I feel like people always say Zane is like that, but then like I feel like it's not actually true. I feel like that's just a mistake.
yeah, no, it's just like when you're top best in the world, you're best at everything according to like a
Yeah,
Twitch chatter, you know. Mewtwo King, a lot of good
yeah,
players that we watch Mewtwo King, he was the best at rolling the dice, you know.
yeah. No, I definitely heard that.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean that is what I would say was your biggest issue there. Like even like there's a couple of times where you're just like sitting and waiting after like an interaction, but Kubi just has like a good enough read on like your timing because you're not really mixing up like when you're going in and when you're not. You're either like not going in and waiting for him a obvious punish, or you're like only going in. That's funny. Cause yeah, he's just able to edge guard you for free there. And like, what is his last sock? He just spams fair. Is that not what it was?
I can't remember to be honest.
Let's see, he just waits. You go
Oh,
in.
patience. Yeah.
Fair, weak up air, and he hits you, right? Weak up air and he hits you, and
Yeah.
he's probably gonna kill you off it. Nope. Oh, okay. Holding center. Okay, he catches you at a mash out of a tech chase. YOLO dash attack into Nair into just you double jump into an F smash. That is tough. But yeah, I would say that's basically it. Like that's the main thing to me is
Okay.
you're not mixing up your times. But I think there's comfort in that, honestly. Um
No, for sure. Like I think it's yeah, it's just difficult to do something like I think that's just a matter of like improving at anything. It's just you kind of gotta like force yourself to do things that are uncomfortable just over and over and over until you feel comfortable doing them. But obviously it's tough.
yeah, well I would say like try and look at it like this. Like if I have Luigi shielding here, right? I don't maybe Luigi's not the best character. I'm gonna make Peach shield. So it's just a move. If I hit Luigi's shield, he's gonna go flying. If I hit Peach here, right?
Mhm.
I think this is your main problem. If I were to like put it into like a basic example,
Okay.
I can hit Peach's shield and know she's gonna grab every time, right? Right, and
Mhm.
there's nothing stopping me from just baiting that out and F smashing that every time, right? The
Yeah.
problem with not mixing up your options, even when you know they're gonna work, is that the second that I've conditioned Peach that I'm gonna punish her for doing this shield grab every time, and then I start getting comfortable doing that in other spots, like let's say she's not shielding but now she's crouching, and that she's gonna try and CC grab me here every time, right? Obviously she's not crouch canceling, she should stay crouching. I just don't know how to make her do that as a bot. But the point being, maybe there's one option here. No, there isn't. Okay.
I think you have to do like ground hold trajectory or something if you go to TDI. Um, like above, I think, if you go to
Ground.
like trajectory DI. I think you can do like ground hug or floor hug. Something like that.
No. Well, she's spot dodging actually. What if I make her do nothing? Yeah, okay, there. She's ASDIing right now. She should be shielding or crouching. But the point being, right? The point being, like, if replace the shield with a crouch right now, right? And let's say
Mhm.
every time after, I know she's gonna grab.
Yeah.
Right, something like that. ASDI down grab. I can still bait this and hit it. But the problem I would say is that better opponents in this spot, and this is like I had to learn to do better against Faust, is like even though I'm safe here, eventually he's gonna catch me on like this frame of dash back,
Yeah.
And he's gonna catch me here. And he's gonna hit me with like a dash attack or something, right? And the problem is, even though moves are like on paper safe in melee, it doesn't mean they're safe in game. If that makes sense,
Okay.
Your
Yeah.
problem in these spots where you're mashing, you're committing really hard and not forcing anything else. So like in this spot where you're like naring at people, you can safely down tilt after, right? Or
Yeah.
you can dash back and mix it up. And just the mix up alone of like swing into poke, swing into poke, swing into a big hit, and swing into run away. How are they going to catch you if the swing is safe, right? Your problem, the swing has been safe, but your second option isn't. So it's almost like they don't really care about the first swing because they know something else is happening after. So what you need to do better is I think you're good at putting on the pressure. Like let's say you have advantage right now. You're good at putting on the pressure. You're not good at baiting out the pressure from your pressure, So you just need to learn to like give it up a little bit and then put them right back in it over and over. And that's when you're able to start getting your hits again, So it's almost like you're at the point where I think you need to just start bringing some more level 2 play into it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
The level 1
Yeah.
is they're going to shield grab, but when it stops working, what's your counterplay to their counterplay? That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be what I would focus on for this time. But yeah.
Okay.
It's
That makes
I think
sense.
there's comfort in it though, right? Like it's the same issue
Yeah.
across different opponents, different characters. Um, so that means you know that there's something there, and I would just focus on that a little bit more.
Yeah. No, it's good to hear you say that because I've sort of like I was describing it in terms of like I feel like in sometimes I treat melee too much as like a like playing against some sort of like basic AI bot where it's like when they do this move, you beat it with this move. You do this move, you beat it with this move. Where it's like I
Mhm.
need to sort of be like I'm playing against an actual human being who will also adapt at a certain point. So I need to like mix things up in anticipation of them adapting instead of just like waiting for it or something like that.
Yeah. No, I mean I would say uh, there's a video by CLG. Trying to find it. What it's called? It's like the four fundamentals of melee, right?
Yeah.
I think we talked about it a couple minutes ago actually. The four fundamentals of melee, and this video, in my opinion, is really good because the basic thing of what it describes, it breaks down, is these four sections. And I would say oh, I don't know why that's written like that, whatever. I would say focus on it like this and try and think of when you watch your VODs back for these two again, because I'm sure you will. Watch it back in terms of neutral game and how does that lead towards your punish game. Watch your punish game and watch that in terms of how it leads to your edge guarding game. Watch your edge guarding game or your neutral game. The way it should be written, honestly, is like this. I have it written like this, but it should actually look like this. Neutral game. Oh fuck.
I think I
A
sort of see what you
defensive.
or it's like neutral. It's like a like neutral and like has two paths to like
Yeah,
and then punish leads to edge guard.
yeah. But
Okay.
I would say each one of these are like a pillar of like how to be a good player. I'd say you've gotten like B solidly, you know.
Okay.
A and or sorry, A and neutral need some work. Edge guarding hasn't really been an issue in either of these sets. Like edge guarding in the Marth Ditto, you just need to hit tippers more and like learn to Marth killer maybe in some spots, but like that wasn't why you lost that set, you know? You could have played neutral like 50 times more with Kubi if you wanted to because you just hit him you're sorry, if you had the opportunity to play neutral with Kubi like 50 times more, you would have killed him, you know, because your punish game was good. But
Okay.
your neutral game is where you're swinging. Same thing with the Falco. If you had more opportunity to like win neutral and play it better, your punish was good enough, you would have beaten him. So it's like same thing with like other characters. Like it doesn't matter really if your punish game sucks against Jigglypuff. If your neutral game is so good that you get to play 50 times the stock anyway, you just beat her. And that's how like Zane looks at Jigglypuff, right? Like no one's he's gotten a lot better at it. Now he's killing Jigglypuff a lot sooner with like better pivot optimizations and grab flow charting. But like ask Zane 2 years ago when he was still beating Hungrybox, and he would tell you like it doesn't matter if you have to play neutral 20 times over. The neutral's in your favor, so just play it. You know,
Hmm.
and it's true. So it's like I think just looking at your VODs with like one of these four pillars at a time, like just look at your VODs. Like today we just talked about neutral, right? We weren't really talking about like, oh, you could have done this to punish better, like, oh, you could have done this, whatever. Like when I was watching you play, I'm like, okay, you should be crouching in neutral. You did that, okay, check one. Oh, but now you're just running at him all the time. Why are you doing that? And then it all crumbles from there for your neutral game, right? So that's kind of like why we're talking about that so much.
Yeah.
Because like your hits were fine, your edge guards were like, could have been better because you needed tippers. Defense was like you showed it, but wasn't all there because you could have gotten more grabs or baited more, but you still showed that you understood what you were doing, so like that's fine. Neutral was the real problem because it was consistently coming up over and over, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of why we were talking about it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I personally I would be happy with that just because it's like okay, well now I know I need what I need to work on, you know.
No, I think that's like definitely the best thing for me, at least in terms of like coaching, is just that like having someone who can tell me like, okay, I like I understand more about this game than you. This is what you need to do. That's
Well, yeah, I mean,
so yeah.
I appreciate it. So yeah, I'll end the recording here. I'll leave it at that.